I ride the train, the subway, a lot because I'm from New York City and that's the way that we get around. And when you ride the train for your entire life, you start to make a lot of observations on the train. And one of the most common things that I see on the train are parents and their children. And when I look at a lot of interactions between parents and children, the one thing that I always notice is, well, two things I would say, is how they express love to each other and how they interact. For example, when kids come on the subway with their parents, one of the first things that I see that kids do is they will either sit down next to their parents and ask them for their iPhone or their Android so they can play games on it, or when their parents sit down, the parent is on the phone and the kid is begging the parent for attention. When has that become one of the number one sorts of interactions that we see? Begging for attention from a parent or a loved one or a partner at the expense of an iPhone or an Android. When did we become so afraid of just loving each other? There's another kind of interaction that I see on the train which always warms my heart because it's super rare. And that interaction is when I see a parent not take out their phone on the subway, but take out a book. And when they take out a book and read it with their kids, I'm reminded of my own childhood, and I'm reminded of how rare we interact like that. How rare we sit down now next to each other and have conversations. And to me, that speaks to our inability to love with our whole hearts. There's this quote from the Dalai Lama that I recently heard, and it's, "We have learned to love things and use people." I'm going to say that one more time. We have learned as a society to love things and use people. When did that happen? When do we become so afraid of love? You know, when we have children, and you know what, I want to make a disclaimer, I don't have kids, okay? So I don't know what it's like to be a parent, and this is not a judgment on parents, this is more of an observation. But when we have kids, you know, and we give birth, one of the first things that we feel when we hold a baby is pure love energy, right? And we think about kids and our connection to babies. And when you see a baby, you can't help but to really love and give all of your attention to them, right? Because they are an example of pure love energy. And over time, as that baby grows into maybe a 6-year-old, and then a teenager, and then a 20-something, and then an adult, we start to have this disconnection of that energy. Because instead of seeing them as this amazing ball of energy and love and light, we start to put expectations on them, on the kind of adults that they're supposed to be. And we lose that connection. And instead, we look at people as people, just another person on the street. And we lose the love energy that connects us. So I ask you, what's your connection like with love? How are you connected to other people in terms of how you love? Have you noticed your own behavior and your own interactions in your life? One thing that we forget is love is an energy. And you're either, by all of your actions, giving out a lot of positive energy that contributes to the overall love in our world, or your actions are taking away and depleting that love so it doesn't vibrate as strongly. Have you ever had an interaction with a stranger and you both start laughing and you've never met each other before, but you see something and you make eye contact with that person and you both start laughing? That is the most heartwarming experience, to be able to connect with somebody that you don't know and just start sharing in a laugh or a smile together. That is what roots us back into love. That is what reminds us of the energy of love. It is more common today for us to walk around frowning and worrying about what our lives are going to be like in the next few hours than to look up at the beautiful colors of the sky. How common is it for you to be walking down the street and somebody is holding their cell phone, right? And they bump into you because they're not looking up. We don't know how to look up anymore. We don't know how to make eye contact anymore. We don't know how to have conversations anymore. We're not loving with our whole hearts anymore. We're not immersed in love anymore. We're immersed in stuff. And it's not really our fault. I mean, like, everything that we are doing now to communicate, the way I'm communicating with you right now, right, is through my cell phone and through my computer. We rely on technology to be able to communicate. But because we're starting to rely on technology to be able to communicate, we forget to be in the now. We forget to be in the present moment. We forget how important it is to take a minute and put our phones down and look around us, to take a minute and make eye contact with somebody. Have you ever had the experience where you have this feeling that someone is looking at you, and you may look up from whatever you're doing and you see that it's a little kid staring at you? That happens to me all the time. And before, it used to kind of freak me out, like, why is this little kid staring at me? But then I realized that kids, babies, they're acting from a pure state of love, from a pure state of curiosity, from a pure state of just being immersed in the moment, right? And as adults, because we are so involved in our jobs and our emails, we forget about that natural curiosity, that natural desire to just want to connect with other people. We've forgotten how to do that. And that's not loving with our whole hearts. That's not embracing and getting immersed in the moment. I was thinking about my own behaviors and my own actions. And, sometimes my partner, I'll be doing something on my phone or I'll be writing an email, and my partner will come into the room and she'll want to share something with me, And what do I do most of the time? I just hold my phone, and I may even continue to write something. And I do this, and I'm looking at my phone and I'm listening to her. And I'm not loving or listening with my whole heart, am I? But how common is that? How common is it for us to try to have these half conversations with people where we're not really giving our full energy, our full eye contact, our full spirit, our full heart? It's common. It's become commonplace. But that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's right. So today, my message to you is simple. My message to you is take time today to observe your interactions with others. take time today to ask yourself, how immersed am I in the conversations and interactions that I had today? Ask yourself, when people are talking to me, am I giving my whole heart, or am I sort of half listening, half stepping, half doing? It's important because you know what? A lot of us, we think, oh my God, if I put my phone down, I might miss out on something, right? Or if I don't finish this email in time, I'm not going to be able to get back to this person. And then there's a so freaking what? The thing is, with all the things that we fear missing out on, our FOMO, we can always catch up. You can always check out the news. You can always go look back at your feed. You can always catch up on what the recent trends are. But you know what you can't catch up on? You can't catch up on moments. You can't catch up on time. You can't catch up on conversations that you've had. So the important thing is to really think about in your own life what you're allowing yourself to fully immerse in and what you're missing out on because you're too interested in not missing out. Right? What are you fully immersed in your phone, so much so that you're not allowing yourself to have a great conversation with your significant other, like I was? What are you not allowing yourself to fully enjoy because you're on your phone or you're worried about getting back to a text message? How many times a day do you look up at the sky? How many times a day? How many times a day do you look up at the color of the clouds or the shapes of the clouds? When you're a little kid and you are, in a field and you get to look up and you lean back and you look at the clouds and you think about all the shapes of the clouds? We don't do that anymore as adults, do we? How often do you take a look at the color of the sky or the color of someone's eyes that you pass on the street? Think about that. Ask yourself. I want to encourage you today to make eye contact with a stranger. Make eye contact with a stranger. Share a smile with a stranger. Love with your whole heart. Remember, everything that we do, all of our energy is either feeding into love and positive energy in the universe or depleting it, taking away from it. It's like the ozone layer, right? With the ozone layer, people are saying the ozone layer is getting depleted. Yeah, well, it's because if we're putting toxic energy into the ozone layer, we're doing negative things, we are depleting it. But if we let it thrive and we give positive energy out, then we can let it be. Let love be. Go back to your natural state of loving with your whole heart. Yeah, for some of us, it may feel counterintuitive to make eye contact with a stranger. It may feel weird. It may make you feel like you're out of your comfort zone. But it reminds you of the humanity that we share, the connection that we share. It allows you to take a moment to check back in with love. It's those moments in life, those little interactions, those times where we can read aloud to our kids, those times where we can see a cute dog on the street that's wagging its tail at us and we can go up to it and pet it. It's times when you see a beautiful flower in the park. I mean, for me personally, when I walk my dog, I try to always leave my cell phone at home. And I do that because I want to make sure that I'm fully immersed, that I'm loving in that instance with my whole heart. I don't want to have any distractions. I want us to be able to bond together. But we haven't been able to do that so much anymore, have we? People say, always take your phone with you in case I need to contact you. And we forget that 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones And we still were able to contact each other, weren't we? Today, I want to encourage you to love with your whole heart. Get fully immersed in someone. Get fully immersed in a conversation. Get fully immersed in the beauty of the sky. Get fully immersed in laughter. You can change your life because you can practice becoming more aware of your actions and your behaviors. You can put that phone down once in a while and really connect with people. You can change your life because you can become more immersed and you can love with your whole heart. It all starts with you. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. This is my 29th speech of my 30 days, 30 speeches challenge. If this video resonated with you, please share it. Please give it a like. Please leave me a comment. Much love to you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, amazing, love-filled